Now we take your questions. We have P.J. O'Rourke and Judge Napolitano back. Our four other Libertarian guests are here in the front row. First question from my Facebook page. Do Libertarians believe government does anything well?
Well, I don't think government does anything well. I would limit its job to protecting freedom, and everything else that it does, it shouldn't. It should be done by the private sector or the individual.
Well, can I weigh in on that? I think sometimes we put libertarianism too much in terms of government. Libertarianism is really about the individual. It's about respect for the individual, dignity of the individual, responsibility of the individual. Anything that is good for those aspects of individualism is pro-libertarian. Anything that's bad for them is anti-libertarian. A libertarian is more a perspective than it is a philosophy, a political philosophy per se.
See, I disagree with that. It animates virtually every observation I have about virtually every clash between the individual and the government. And I would always give the benefit of the doubt to the free individual with natural rights rather than to an organization based on fear and force.
And government is force. Let's take questions from you. Yes, sir.
I actually just have a question about what do libertarians believe that should be taxed? Like, I have a right to my wage and my property, but how does the government under libertarianism get its money?
Well, we probably disagree on this because we were actually talking about this earlier. I believe that there are three ways that you can acquire wealth. One is through inheritance, if you're fortunate enough. One is through trading a good or a service or a skill or a knowledge or a product for money. And the other is through force, your money or your life. Which one does the government use? So
well, they say we have a voluntary tax system.
I believe that all taxation is theft, because you have the right to the product of your own labor. If the government can take the fruits of your labor against your will, it can take anything.
What, so no taxes?
No taxes.
What pays for the Army and the Navy?
Well, who says we have to have an Army and a Navy, and who says it has to be paid for by taxes?
Can we keep the Marine Corps? Just in case Canada gets axed up, you know? I just don't think there's an easy answer to that. All taxation ends up to be extremely unfair. But I do know this. I've got friends who live in Hong Kong, and they pay a flat tax, and there are no, other than their charitable
15%.
15%, and their charitable contributions are their only deductions that they have, and their tax form's the size of a postcard.
You know,
so that's better.
The federal government once subsisted on land sales and user fees. Let's shrink it back to that size.
I want to come out and ask the question, what makes a libertarian a libertarian? Because in my view, it's that consenting adults should be allowed to do whatever it is they want as long as they aren't harming the person or property of a non-consenting other. What's your take?
Fine by me.
That's a perfect description of libertarianism.
Yeah.
I also am animated by the view that we have natural rights that the government can't take away from us, that are either as a result of our intellect and ability to reason or are gifts from God, depending upon where you want to start that argument.
And, of course, our property and ourselves. That is key, too. But I do think, that you pretty well summed that up, with always the proviso in mind that we do live in a human society and people are going to argue about what constitutes harm to others. You're going to have to face that.
I'm making a nuclear bomb in my garage and I'm just doing it for fun. I don't want to blow it up or hurt anybody. There's still the potential
your neighbors
harm.
are still going to get nervous.
Right.
We could argue for a long time about that. Who else here? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. I had a question for anybody. I work for the Evil Empire, HMO, managed care company for Medicaid. I'm a nurse, co-worker here, and we came here because we were against the whole Obamacare, and I listen to you all the time, Judge. And my question is, do you think that, let's say, the Republicans win in 2012, like they think they are, do you think the Republican Party will do something against this atrocity?
I don't think we have a two-party system in this country. I think we have one party, which is the big government party. There's a Democratic wing that likes welfare and taxes and assaulting our commercial liberties. There's a Republican wing that likes war and deficits and assaulting our civil liberties.
A pretty big party.
If George W. Bush had proposed this health care, the Republicans would have been in favor of it. So.
No. The worst thing about this healthcare thing is the fundamental dishonesty of the way the argument is put. Insurance. When your house catches on fire, what do you call? The fire department or Allstate? You know, I mean, it's about getting treated. It's not about insurance. It's right from the get-go, this argument is dishonest. Will there be a sudden breath of honest, fresh air if the Republicans get in? I doubt it.
Yes, sir.
How do we take back our government from them if it's one party?
It's very difficult to do. I mean, typically a third party with libertarian leanings would split the Republican vote. The camera is the new gun. These people need to be exposed for everything that they do, every move they make, every decision they participate in, every position they take.
God bless YouTube.
Every unreported vote, every letter they write, every compromise they engage in, and the truth will then become known.
A lot of it is also in our hearts. I mean, we have to quit explicitly or implicitly asking government to take our responsibilities off our shoulders and put them on his shoulders because he makes more money than I do. You know, and I mean, it's real. Part of it is our own attitude towards government is what allows government to get so big.
Once in a former life, I won awards, 19 Emmy Awards, celebrating government regulation. Then I saw the light. I saw that the regulations did more harm than good. I learned the benefits of free enterprise and limited government. They honor the dignity of the individual. And free markets make people richer and happier. It's the reason I now call myself a libertarian. But people don't know what it means. I hate that. So we've discussed tonight, libertarian means we want government to largely leave us alone, protect our personal security, but then to butt out, to leave us free to pursue our hopes and dreams as long as we don't hurt anybody else. That philosophy used to be called liberal. Several hundred years ago, liberalism was a reaction against the stifling rules imposed by aristocracy and established religion. The original liberals in Europe fought against that straitjacket. Some escaped to America. Then they fought a war to free us from monarchy. And thank goodness they created this. This is the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The limits on government in here were meant to be a liberal alternative to the dictatorship of the central planners. They affirm that we have unalienable rights. Defending those rights used to mean you were a liberal. And I wish I could call myself that now. At least people know what it means. But I can't call myself a liberal anymore because today's liberals perverted the word. Liberalism now means advocating all kinds of big government. Health police, high taxes, speech codes, poverty programs that teach dependency, and so forth. So I can't call myself a liberal. Now I'm stuck with libertarian. I don't love the word. People just have no clue what it means.
I would say it's someone that's very liberal in their views.
Libertarian. Libertarian. It's just a term.
The definition of one? I don't know. I'm from the state of Massachusetts.
A libertarian? I have no clue.
Wow, it's so complex nowadays.
Libertarian economist Frederick Hayek wasn't happy with the word libertarian either. He said it was too manufactured. He said he wished he had a word that describes the party of life, the party that favors free growth and spontaneous evolution. Me too. Those ideas are embodied in the writings of John Locke, John Stuart Mill, and Adam Smith. They were called liberals. It's such a good word. I want the word back. But it's too late for that. Today's liberals stole it. So what are my other choices? Freeman? Let live and let livest? Freedom fighter? So we invite your suggestions. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you for watching.